Welcome Home, a podcast for veterans, about veterans by veterans, is a project of Willing Warriors and the Warrior Retreat at Bull Run.
Good morning. I'm Larry Ziliak, your host and Director of Culinary Services here at the Warrior Retreat. And today our guest is Chuck Berge. He is our ambassador at large here at the retreat, but he also is the team lead for the yearly Vets for Vets car show that we have right here on the property. So welcome, Chuck.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
So today we're going to talk about the Vets for Vets show. This is the fourth annual show. The four that we've had so far have been huge success. It's a lot of fun. Last year, how many cars did we have last year?
We had roughly 225 total.
Wow. So that's Vets, and we do have cars other than Corvettes.
There was approximately 175 Corvettes and about 45 others, non-Corvettes.
Wow. And so the show is open to anybody who wants to bring their car. There is a fee, though.
There's a fee. Registration is $20 pre-advanced, and that'll cut off around July 5th or July 1st. After that, it's $25 there. There's no admission charge for spectators to view the cars. We don't charge for that.
So it's open to the public when we encourage everybody to come. Not only are you going to see amazing cars, but both houses are open for tours. So if you haven't been to the property and experienced the retreat, then we encourage you to come and see the cars and take tours. One of the really nice things about coming and touring the house is that the houses are air conditioned. And so in previous car shows, I can remember people just going and touring the house for the air conditioning, because it can be hot in July. But we've been lucky. We've
had one rain date.
One rain date. Okay, 1 out of 4 is not bad.
No.
This one is going to be spectacular. We don't have to worry about a rain date. There's not going to be any rain. I have that on good authority. The public comes 10 o'clock. I noticed that the cars show up very early. I was really surprised. I thought on one, maybe the first or the second one, I came and I said, I'm going to be early. I'm going to show up around 8:30. And there was like 40 cars here already.
What happens, registration opens up formally 8 a.m. I'm here usually around quarter of 6 in the morning. Our first car last year was here at 6:30, an hour and a half ahead of time. Some of these guys and gals like to get there early. They want their prime parking spot or whatever. So they think if they get here at crack of dawn, they got their choice.
Okay. Well, okay, good for them. They come in early. I appreciate that. Now, I recall that last year we had a number of cars that were trailered in.
Yes, we had half a dozen cars trailered in, plus I had one trailer, actually 2 trailers down at my residence that drove their cars the additional 5 miles to get here, but parked their cars down at my residence.
Wow. And they do that because they just don't want to put miles on them, or
they're basically trailer queens. They don't want to take a chance of having a stone chip, road hash, dirt, whatever. Wow. They're basically, we call those trailer queens.
Okay. Well, and I suspect that the cars that they do trailer are actually worth some money.
Yes, they're probably in the $100,000 to $200,000 range. Okay,
well, I'll give them that then. Yeah. It's not like they are throwing a Ford Bronco that's been out four-wheeling on there. Well, so there's some really amazing cars here. Do you recall what the oldest car was last year?
The oldest car we had last year was a 1954 Corvette. Oh. This year is the 70th anniversary of Corvettes. We will have a 1953 Corvette alongside of a 2023 Corvette. Oh, wow. So that'll be, you can see what happened 70 years ago and what it's like today.
Wow.
And they'll be side by side over by the registration booth.
Yeah. Wow. That's going to be something. We have a number of competitions. So there are judges involved, and there's varying awards that are given out. What are some of the type of awards that are given?
Are you talking about classes? I presume.
I don't know enough about it to know if I'm talking about classes.
What I've done with the Corvettes is broken down in segments of years. Like, for example, 1953 to 62 is going to be one class.
Okay.
And that would be chosen by the Warriors. We have the trophies or the awards we have are the Chairman's Award, People's Choice. And People's Choice is kind of interesting. We actually sell beads.
Yeah.
And the car, and you take the bead that you purchased and put on the mirror of the car, and the car with the most beads wins. So, in other words, if you wanted to spend a lot of money and buy all the beads, you buy yourself a trophy.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
We have the Chairman's Choice, that's my choice of non-Corvettes, because I didn't want a tricked out 1932 street rod to beat out a 57 Corvette as at quote for vet show.
Yeah.
And I chose not to change that name from that. It's kind of a catchy saying, and that's kind of what we do. So it's Vets for Vets and small print or others.
And so of all the non-Corvettes, there's a competition amongst those.
Yes.
And then you're the judge of that.
Yes.
And I think our listeners should know that you're not like some guy we plucked off the street because he might have a Corvette or may not. You have a long history of judging Corvettes.
Yes. I've been involved judging Corvettes since about 1985. I had my first Corvette when I was graduating from high school. I bought a 1957 Corvette. I graduated high school in 1962. And I had that through college until Uncle Sam decided he had other ideas for me. So I sold it at that point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've had Corvettes for a while.
Wow. Okay. And you're a veteran, too.
Yes.
Army?
Army. 6 years Army.
Oh.
Go Army.
Yeah, there you go. Go Army, beat Navy, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's a funny story because I have a very good friend that's an Annapolis graduate, and his father and his brother also. So I get invited to the Army-Navy game. So fortunately for the Army usually wins that game, so I can just sit there and be a quiet person. I can't be cheering wildly for the Army because my my partner that brought me is a Navy guy.
Well,
so
yeah,
I'm
you
just
do
quiet. But
be a little quiet. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Also, too, there's a Veterans Choice Award.
Mm-hmm. Well, we have the Warriors' Choice.
Warriors' Choice,
which we'll have. We'll have that. We have several Warriors that will be in attendance, and they always select their car here again based on the years. I'll have that and give them a little education on what years they're looking at.
Right.
I also have a Founder's Choice
For
John and Shirley.
John and Shirley. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So there's
We also this year we're going to have a Celebrity's Choice. I'm hoping, I've got it penciled in, that a gentleman, Tommy Milner, who works for Corvette Racing and races Corvettes for Chevrolet division, he lives in Round Hill. I've got him. I've been trying to get him the last couple of years. This year it fits his date. He told me to pencil him in. I've got him and another gentleman that's actually my step-grandson, Sean Kerrigan, who's starred in several movies and TV sitcoms as a celebrity. So I'm going to have a Celebrity's Choice this year.
Oh, nice. Mm-hmm. I got a little excited. I thought we were talking about Justin Bieber, but apparently not.
No,
okay.
no.
All right. Well, maybe next year.
He was unavailable.
Unavailable. Okay. So there's hope. Maybe in future years. The event is open to the public, which starts at 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
And by 11 o'clock, we have the Knights of Columbus, who generously donate hamburgers and hot dogs for everyone in attendance.
And that'll be a free will offering. We don't charge.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. If you want to donate for it, that's great. We really appreciate that. And then the show just kind of wraps up around.
We'll have awards at 1:30. The challenge this year for 2023 is I lost my whole show field due to a construction of the Grand Lodge, which will be our third facility for the Warriors. So my challenge was, how am I going to get 200 cars would normally park in that area? So they're going to be diverse around the various houses, the two houses we have, and the grassy area, and so on and so forth. It'll take a little planning, but I've got that down, and we'll make that work.
So we can still have it on the property.
Exactly.
And by next year, you should have half of your field back.
Exactly.
Because right now the front part there is blocked off for future septic.
Yep.
But once that's put in, then that field will grow back, and that'll be you get most of it back. It'll still be a challenge because there's a big house being built there.
What's nice about that is when we get that back, we'll have already situated the cars, how we're going to put them around the houses, and now we're going to have some more spaces. So for 2024, we can get bigger and better.
Yes. Oh, that'll be great. What's your most memorable experience in the last 4 shows that we had? What comes to mind when you think back and say, that was really an amazing car, that was an awesome event, or something happened? What's your fondest memory?
I'm going to do a side note on that. There's a saying, we come for the cars and stay for the people. The people, to me, are the most important facility that we have. They come to see the facility, they come to see the cars, etc. And we have a lot of warriors coming out and enjoying the cars. And I enjoy talking to warriors.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a number of wounded warriors that have stayed with us that come back and enjoy the show. I think last year we had a number of chefs from the White House that participate in the visiting chef program. They came out and enjoyed the show. I seem to recall, I had to laugh. We have this big sign out front that says "Welcome Home," and I remember I was standing out by the garage, and I remember this woman coming up and asked one of the staff. She said, "Who lives here in the big house?" I'm like, really? You thought this was somebody's house? I mean, who puts a big welcome home sign outside their house? But then we explained that it's a retreat for wounded warriors and their families. So I'll never forget that.
What's amazing, you have people coming up and they had no idea that the Willing Warrior Retreat at Bull Run is located that close to their backyard.
Yeah.
And once they see a tour of the homes and what we do for the warriors and how it's set up, they're so impressed. And makes me feel really proud to be part of this organization.
Yeah, and we get a number of volunteers out of it. They say, this is great. Mm-hmm. There's also Beautification Day, so they're learning about Beautification Day, so they come back with their family to do a Beautification Day later in the year. We get a number of people who just say, well, I'm retired. I have time on my hands. This is great. I'd love to come and volunteer. And we direct them towards Faith, and she does a wonderful job of bringing them on board. But it is awareness too. And we get people who come to this show from all over. So I remember last year there were clubs from Maryland that would come down. And at one point, I have a great picture looking down the driveway, and it was down the driveway, out onto the road, and all the way up over the hill was a line of cars to get in. And we have to have a police officer at the entrance to direct traffic.
That picture you're talking about, I witnessed that also. And poor Officer Casey is down there trying to direct traffic in a safe manner, and we've had traffic all blocked up.
Yeah, it was. But luckily it's a country road. It's not like it was a Highway 15 or something.
Exactly. So.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about the clubs that come.
There are several clubs. One is out of Southern Maryland that comes over. They have a group of about 20 cars. I'll get a phone call from somebody that has a club. They want to come out. They want to park together. Mm-hmm. So it's awful hard to reserve spots. So they'll come out. There's a Northern Virginia Corvette club that's based out of Virginia, real close to us. And I know for a fact they're meeting in the parking lot of Walmart at 7 o'clock. And there's going to be about 25 of them coming and touring over to us. They're leaving there at 7:30, so they'll be here about 20 of 8. So like I said, registration, so much for that.
Right.
So we will group the clubs and the club members together as long as they arrive together.
Right. Yeah, that's the key.
That's the key.
If they're driving in together, they're definitely going to be parked next to each other. I mean,
and that's, we try and facilitate that.
Yeah.
So it's easy for them to get in and out.
Yeah, good.
Like I said, awards will be at 1:30, so usually it'll wrap up about 2:30,
right?
Depending on how many home tours we have yet.
Right.
We're not gonna shut you down. If you want to see the house, we're gonna be here for you.
Yes. Yeah. We'll be having tours all day. Usually we just have people come in, and Charmaine is one of our guest stay coordinators, and she is at a desk at the front of the Lang house, and she'll welcome him in and tell him all about what we do and let him come through the house. I spend a lot of time in the kitchen myself so that when they come in, we can talk about the visiting chef program and all the different food programs that we have and what their stay is like. It's an all hands event. So Faith musters a good number of volunteers. We need volunteers for parking. We need volunteers to just man the tables that we have. Of course, the Knights of Columbus has a good number of volunteers that they bring to do all the cooking on our grills. So it's a community event.
Knights of Columbus also will do the present of colors.
Yes,
at noon. That'll be good.
And then we have a national anthem. Yeah.
So we have a pastor from the Lutheran Church, Shepherd of the Hills, that'll have a blessing before we begin.
Great. Yeah, it's a nice little ceremony. It's not overly long. People want to get right to business, which is who's going to win the different awards. So yeah, we're usually wrapping things up by 2:00.
Yeah,
2 to 2:30, especially once the awards are over. The cars are heading out pretty much, which is great.
What amazes me is all the groups of volunteers that come out to help make the job easier. Whether we'll start setting up on Thursday, we'll conclude on Saturday afternoon. So we have crews coming in to set up, crews to take down.
Yeah.
And it's great to watch all the people work together so well.
We have teams come out, put up the tents, set up the tables, the chairs, places for people to sit who are eating. I know we have coffee from Starbucks is provided in the morning. I think we're going to have some breakfast sandwiches for folks. Because the cars come in so early, I know that sometimes by 11 o'clock, the car owners are starving.
Oh, yeah, big time.
They're lined up to get hot dogs and hamburgers. So, yeah, it's a really fun day. Bring the family out, see all the cars, tour the houses, walk the grounds. I mean, we have 37 acres out here. You're welcome to walk on the trails, and we have plenty of play areas for the kids. Both in front of the house, there's a nice play area, and then down near the fire pits in the woods, there's another play area for the kids as well. So plenty for them to do and run around. Plenty of room for that.
If you have a question on how to register, if you go to our website under events, you can register right there. Hit events, and you go down, and you don't have to bring a car to come. There's also a place where you can sign up to donate or become a sponsor of this event or future events.
Right. And we do have some sponsors already.
Yes, we do.
Who do we have?
We have Country Chevrolet out of Warrenton, Virginia. We have Robinson Paving.
Oh, nice.
We have several others coming out. They're really generous on the sponsorship.
Yeah,
so
great.
We have sponsorship funds coming in already before the show and then after the show.
Right.
And when you register a car, we give you a challenge coin. This year's challenge coin will have a 23 Corvette on it. Last year had a 53 Corvette. Next year I'll come up with something different.
Yeah, and I think the challenge coin references the 70th anniversary.
Yes, it does this year. We put on that.
It's really special, and I know I'm sure that some of the cars keep coming back and collecting those coins.
Exactly.
I don't know if there's any. Is there any other shows that give out challenge coins like that?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Yeah,
they're still on the dash plaques and so on and so forth. And challenge coins are so much more rewarding to have in your hand.
Yeah, it's special.
Yeah.
Special treat for those who register and show their car. And
when you bring your car, you also will give your little goodie bag with some mementos in that,
right?
So you can take some information. And
yeah, one of the things that's going in the goodie bag this year is a dog tag that's going to have information for veterans on calling the hotline, the suicide hotline, which is 988+1.
That's an interesting site. I went onto that online and looked at that. It's, the lines are manned by volunteers, and the theme is you are not alone.
Yeah.
There's somebody waiting to talk to you. And speaking of vendors, we will not have any vendors selling T-shirts and stuff like that. It's all veteran-oriented, nonprofit organizations.
Yeah.
Mission 22, Pets for Vets,
Yeah.
et cetera, and the dog tag person, and
The VA will be here, Ryan.
American Legion.
Yeah, so we'll have a number of veteran service organizations that'll be here. I know Amy Stoddard from Serving Together, which is an amazing Maryland-based veteran service organization that's sort of a clearinghouse for resources. So they are part of the Northern Virginia Veteran Suicide Coalition with us. Our organization also belongs to that. So there's going to be a number of tables set up here for veterans service organizations. And so if you're a veteran and you're looking for help with a claim or something like that, the VA will be here and you can get some help. Well, listen, thank you for taking time to tell us about the show. I'm so looking forward to it. I always have such a great time, and just wandering through this field of cars and I'm not a car person by any means. I drive a 2009 Toyota pickup with roll-up windows.
We won't hold that against you.
Thank you. So, but gosh, they are so beautiful. And some of them have stories with them, which I think is really amazing. It's dedicated to my former, my brother, my ex-husband or something. They have some wild stories, which I think is really neat. If you have a question, that car owner will tell you anything you want to know about that car. And what fascinated me is that they actually know the provenance of that car very often, like who owned it before them. Wow. It's really something. Even if you're not really into cars, we actually know somebody who did not own a Corvette before they became involved in the show and now does own a Corvette. So it's really fun. It's a lot to see, and it's always a good time. So, Chuck, thank you so much.
The key thing is save the date, July 15th.
July 15th.
Open to the public at 10 a.m. Look forward to seeing you. Pray for sunshine.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Yeah. And
thanks for the invitation, by the way.
I'm glad we'll be able to get this out there before the show and tell everybody what it's about and how to go to the webpage. Just go to willingwarriors.org. Events, you can register right there, or you'll see the times of the show. So all the information that you need is right there on our website.
There's an email address for myself and also a phone number. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me.
Yeah, we've got you covered. Well, thanks again. And for our listeners, if you have any suggestions or questions, you can reach me at podcast@willingwarriors.org. And thanks for listening. Like and subscribe, and we'll have another episode next Monday. Thanks.
The Welcome Home podcast is brought to you by Willing Warriors, a nonprofit organization serving active duty service members and veterans since 2012. To learn more, please visit our webpage at willingwarriors.org.